Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to today's reading. Friday afternoon. We meet every week, as you guys know, 3:30 p.m. And I wanted to say, if you know any young people, if you have any relatives, nieces, nephews, or neighborhood youngsters that would like to enjoy a nice story on a Friday, please reach out to them. I'd like to try to reach as many people as possible. So get the word out. That would be awesome. And of course, if you miss it live, you can always catch me on, just go to my Sean Forstler Realtor Facebook page, or I will upload it to my YouTube channel, Sean Forstler YouTube. Just Google that and it will come up. So, Halloween is going to be different this year, unfortunately, but it's still a cool time of the year. I love Halloween. And in the spirit of Halloween, I've decided over the next few weeks to read a couple Halloween stories. So, we're going to read the first story, and it is called The Teeny Tiny Ghost and the Monster. And the author is Kay Winters, and it's illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. All right, let's get started. Don't be too scared. Listen up, said the teacher to the teeny class. The Spook and Spirit Club is sponsoring a contest for all the ghosts in our teeny tiny school. Those are all the little ghost children. A contest? Squeaked the timid teeny tiny ghost. It's a make a monster contest just in time for Halloween. They are looking for a monster that no one has ever seen, said the teeny tiny teacher with a great big grin. Yay! Cheered the ghost in the teeny tiny class. Then they shouted their ideas one by one. A monster that is hairy, one that you'd be scared to meet. A monster that is fierce with fangs and has too many feet. Ooh, there's the monster. Ah! And one that gobbles girls for breakfast, boys for lunch, and cats for trick or treat, added Buster with a big bad grin. Oh no, cried the timid teeny tiny ghost. He sat up very straight in his teeny tiny seat and clutched his teeny tiny black cats. With big black markers and paint as red as blood, the little ghosts in the class began to draw. But the teeny tiny ghost put his teeny tiny head down on his teeny tiny desk. How could he make a monster that was horrible and hairy? That would be too much scary, like a nightmare coming true. What a wimp, whispered Wilma. What a teeny tiny twerp. He's a baby, mocked Buster in a whiny baby voice. Goo goo hoo boo hoo boo hoo. He shot a rubber band at the teeny tiny ghost. Man, these kids are hardcore. You can see him shooting his rubber band. Time's up, said the teacher as she put away the paints. Take your monsters home with you and finish them tonight. Tomorrow we will hang them all and give ourselves a fright. Where's yours? Whispered Wilma to the teeny tiny ghost. Didn't do it. Too bad. But the teacher will be mad. You're the only one who won't be in the contest. Oh, she's kind of scary looking. Look at that. Don't give up. Never quit, said the teeny tiny teacher as she hugged the timid teeny tiny ghost. I know you can do it if you put your mind to it, she whispered in his teeny tiny ear. The teeny tiny ghost sighed a teeny tiny sigh and picked up his 2 black cats. Then they started flying home over teeny tiny town. There's the teacher. There's the little town. He looks worried, huh? Aww. But Buster and Wilma flew right behind them, diving in, diving out, up and over, round about, till the teeny tiny ghost felt dizzy. Down, down he flew to the teeny tiny dump and hid underneath an old clock. Soccer practice, shouted Wilma as she looked at her watch. Buster, we'll be late. It's time to go. Bye-bye, baby boo, Buster called as they flew, and they zoomed off to the teeny tiny park. Phew, said the teeny tiny ghost. They're gone. And he and his cats looked around. They were raggy, saggy sofas, springs and wires out of place, and a teeny tiny clock with one hand upon his face. There were checkers but no game boards, no brooms but lots of mops. There were cages but no songbirds. There were cartons with no tops. The teeny tiny ghost gave a teeny tiny giggle as he saw what his cats had in mind. Here's a monster in the making. We can do this after all. Looks like they're up to something. The teeny tiny ghost found bits and pieces that he wanted. He stacked them and he packed them in a box without a lid and flew home to his teeny tiny house. All afternoon till the moon rode high, the teeny tiny ghost and his teeny tiny cats worked in his teeny tiny barn. Teeny tiny barn, huh? He drilled and they hammered with a rap, rap, rap. He poked and they pounded with a tap, tap, tap. He twisted and they turned the wires tight in place. Then the teeny tiny ghost finally made his monster's face. On Halloween morning at teeny tiny school, some very scary creatures peered down from the wall. That's mine, boasted Buster. It's the meanest one of all. Yeah, we'll see about that, huh? Those are pretty spooky monsters. Buster looks pretty spooky himself, huh? When the teeny tiny ghost and his cats flew in, they pulled and pushed their monster down the hall. Monster bounced on its springs with a bim bam boing. The teeny tiny ghost took a teeny tiny bow. I made a friendly monster out of parts from the dump. It can stand, it can boing, it makes me laugh. So he didn't just draw one, he actually created one that is kind of live, right? Buster smirked, Wilma snickered, and then Buster spoke very softly to the teacher, or so the teacher wouldn't hear. Who ever heard of a monster made of parts from the dump? It wouldn't scare a baby. It's a teeny tiny chump. All morning long, the teeny tiny ghosts wondered who would win the monster contest. They wiggled, they giggled, they couldn't keep still. At recess, the teeny tiny teacher stood guard by the teeny tiny door. No one could peek. At last she jangled her teeny tiny bell. The teeny tiny ghosts lined up to go inside. Then they marched to the teeny tiny hall. There were bright satin ribbons from the Spook and Spirit Club. Yellow for the monsters whose eyes glared and glittered. Red for the one with the lips that snarled and sneered. But the big blue ribbon, the prize for being best and never seen before, was on the friendly monster's chest. Ah, look who got the blue ribbon. Clap, 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 clap. It's like applause. Sounded up and down the hall. With some of that clapping from the monsters on the wall, the teeny tiny ghost gave a big thumbs up and beamed at his two black cats. I knew we could do it if we put our minds to it. And we won the blue ribbon after all. Aw, teeny tiny ghost. All right. Let's see, we'll read one more. Let's see what we got on the list here. Oh, it's another ghost story. This one is called Ghost in the House. It is by Ami Joan Paquette, and it's illustrated by Adam Record. All right. Ghost in the House. Boo! All right. There's a ghost in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night, all alone. And he goes slip slide with a swoop and a glide until suddenly he hears a groan. And a mummy makes two in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night, on the prowl. There we go. We got a little ghost, and we got a mummy. And they shuffle around without even a sound until suddenly they hear a growl. Uh-oh. And a monster makes three in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night, midnight black. Yeah, he doesn't look that scary, does he? And they creep and crawl down the echoing hall until they hear click clack. I think I know what that's going to be. And a skeleton makes four in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night, cold and bleak. There's everybody. And they stagger and stomp in a spine-chilling romp until suddenly they hear a shriek. What do you think it's going to be? And a witch makes five in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night. Best beware. She's brewing something in her cauldron, huh? Then a sudden flash makes them topple and crash, and suddenly they hear, "Who's there?" There's a boy in the house, in the creepy haunted house, on this dark, spooky night. What a fright. And there's our little guy. Five, four, three, two, one. All the creatures run, leaving him alone to say, what's he gonna say? Good night. That's it. Oh. Well, good night, huh? All right, so I think that's going to be it for today. I hope you didn't get too scared at our scary stories. They weren't that scary, were they? Anyway, I am not going to be here next week. So the next time I'll be reading is the following Friday. So join me, have a week off next Friday, and then I will see you back here the following Friday. And I hope everybody has a great and a very safe weekend. All right? So I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye.